sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Stand by.
Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
I opened a book and I strode. Now nobody can find me. I've left my chair, my house, my road, my town, and my world behind me. I'm wearing the cloak. I've slipped on the ring. I've swallowed the magic potion. I've fought with a dragon, dined with a king, and dived in a bottomless ocean. I opened a book and made some friends. I shared their tears and laughter and followed their road with its bumps and bends to the happily ever after. I finished my book and out I came. The cloak can no longer hide me. My chair and my house are just the same, but I have a book inside me.
You beg king of the world, sitting on your throne at a cross, servants standing all around, feeding you apples, your favorite stew, singers and dancers entertaining you, millions of dollars in your chest. If you don't find time to read and browse, you're as poor as a little church mouse. Reading make us a good man, so read and read all you can. Join the library or buy a book, and give it more than just a passing look. Vibrant alone and shall not sleep. Your from words of books, you'll have much to give. Reading make us a good man, so read and read all you can. Join a library or buy a book and give it more than just a passing look. I read alone and shall not slip. But from words of books you'll have much to give. Books and poems, old and new, some serious, some amusing too. You'll understand, appreciate with the words we think, communicate. To bad distractions of today we'll see. Reading every day is a missing link. So raise your knowledge and that you, it gives you confidence in you. Reading make us a good man, so read and read all you can. Join a library or buy a book and give it more than just a passing look. Direct alone, man shall not slip, but from words of books you have much to give. Reading make us a good man, so read and read all you can. Join a library or buy a book and give it more than just a passing look. Direct alone, man shall not slip, but from words of books you have much to give.
The reading sung by the students of Mona Primary School, which was recorded many, many years ago. And before that, the poetry of Julia Donaldson, I Opened a Book. It's one of the things we should always encourage, and we ourselves should practice more reading. More of us need to read more in order to expand our horizon, in order to deepen our understanding, and as a way of following what is happening, what is not happening, to get a better understanding of why things happen the way they happen, etc., etc., etc. It really can be quite fulfilling. And if we encourage children from a very early age, if we read to them, whether before going to bed or in general, if we start that practice at an early age, it will stay with them for life. I'm not asking. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I You can't lose providing your child with that kind of foundation. And even when we think we have arrived in whatever field of life we find ourselves, reading, for example, as a result of that encouragement, my my mother got me a little bookshelf, and that's where I kept my books in first form. I still have my books from first form in high school, except for the ones that were on the rental scheme, the book rental scheme. And just gradually and over time accumulated quite a collection. And it just gives one a sense of, all right, I'm not clear on this matter, let me check this particular publication. And you go through and you match and mix and assess and weigh and decide, and then you move on to the next level. And it's amazing. It's almost as if once you start, there is a you want to know everything, you want to know more, and you're learning something, and it's leading you to another place, the particular publication. Fascinating. Unfortunately, a lot of us find ourselves in positions where we are very busy and have very little time. And so we get caught up in the everyday hustle and bustle and miss an opportunity or miss opportunities to expand our knowledge base, to develop our reasoning ability, etc. But it's never too late. It's never too late. Jamaica's first national hero, the right excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey, told us a long time ago, or suggested a long time ago, that we should ensure before we go to bed each night that we read something, because there's a matter of there's the likelihood that we will retain that which we put in our brain before going to bed. And there are some other there's a book I have on the brain as well that explains some of these things. Like if you're going to enter a dark room, you're better off closing your eyes and opening your eyes in the dark room. Your brain wouldn't be so shocked. And if you're going to move from a dark room to a room with light, keep your eyes closed. And once you get into the space, the lighted space, then you open your eyes. A lot of fascinating things to learn. And let's just start by encouraging our children and supporting them. I know these days, again, it's not always about the it's not always about the physical book, because these days there are ebooks, and we read books on our phones and other devices, smartphones and other devices. But we really should feed our children when it comes to reading and encourage them to read. It it really helps in self-expression, too many of us, for whatever reason, and we're not blaming anybody, for whatever reason, some of us find ourselves in a situation where we want to express ourselves and we can't express ourselves because we lack the vocabulary. And that's one of the things that reading provides. Let's go to the break and come back and properly introduce today's edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM as we continue to stream live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com.
So read and read all you can. Join the library of
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Monkeypox is in Jamaica. If you're experiencing fever, intense headache, muscle aches, and/or rash on the skin, you must isolate immediately and call ahead to your health center or doctor before visiting. All members of the public should wear a mask, frequently wash hands, and practice physical distancing. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
With over 40 years of record service, Lock Safe and Vote Limited is your trusted security provider. Get affordable prices on a wide variety of seals, garage doors, access control supplies, magnetic lock, fingerprint, weatherproof keypad, card access system, time attendance, power supplies, and exit buttons. Professional services provided. Visit 40 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8. Problem solved with Lock Safe and Vote.
reading every day is a missing link. So raise your knowledge and IQ. It gives you confidence in you. Reading make us a full man. So read every day you can. Join a library or buy a book and give it more than just a passing look. Direct alone mention those skills, but from words that puts you have much to give. Let me hear it now. Read it,
And you know, my former colleague here at Power 106 FM, that's one thing I admired about him. Uh, Alti Hilton. He's a voracious reader. He always, for years, always has his newspapers. Always has his newspapers. That's something I've always admired about Alti Hilton. He's always reading. Sports, news, business, everything. Always reading. Good afternoon to Alti Hilton. If you have time for people like us anymore, because we're still in the trenches and you are somewhere on a veranda relaxing, perhaps. Yeah, good afternoon to you. Missing those conversations that we would normally have going out on outside broadcasts and the calls. Well, the calls are less frequent now because for one reason or another, but ever so often we still connect because uh, we continue to see things unfold around us, some of which we would have discussed in our many conversations going to and from outside broadcasts, etc. But that's Alti Hilton is good company to have on any day, at any time. Good afternoon, Alti Hilton. All the best. And thank you for all you have done for this media entity, Power 106 FM. Priceless work. Priceless work. How many times have I seen Alti Hilton dip into his pocket, not asking for any receipt for anything, etc. Something needs to be done. Uh, as a team or a crew, we're famished. Just goes right in, picks up something, and we're good to go. Yeah. Thank you very much, Alti Hilton. Let's properly introduce today's edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 13th day of the 9th month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Put another way, it's the 13th day of the fourth month of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, and the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, today reported that they're monitoring two tropical waves over the tropical Atlantic with development potential. One has a medium chance, that's about 40% chance of becoming a system of that needs monitoring. The other has a low chance, a 20% chance of formation over the next 5 days. Well, we hope they die a natural death uh, as opposed to develop any further than they are right now. Closer to home, a trough is across Jamaica, and we remind ourselves that a trough is an indication of unstable weather in terms of clouding, rain, and thunderstorms. In fact, a trough is always associated with some weather activity, either directly or indirectly. The trough, now across Jamaica, is expected to remain over the next few days. So we know what to look out for. And we've been getting rain on and off. And by now, we should be able to source an umbrella for the child, or umbrella for the children, or a raincoat or two. And by now, we recognize the importance of not just buying a name brand, a so called name brand school bag for the children, but buying a bag that is properly insulated. In other words, water won't seep through and wet up the books and whatever else in the bag, because it's so insulated and impermeable. It means that the books will be preserved, or will be would be kept away from water damage. We have to be mindful of these things. I know we have a tendency, the vendors, they might be selling bag juice right now, and you hear thunder and you see lightning, and they hastily try to sell off the bag juice or put them up somewhere, and then they re-emerge with umbrellas. Yeah, we're very entrepreneurial in that regard. Anyway, let's look at the month of September once again. The month is being observed as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and no better month for those of us who are reticent and reluctant to have a particular test done, uh, uh, which is a prostate cancer test. And now would be a good month if we if we haven't done so already. Those of us 40 and over. It's also Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and National Senior Citizens Month, Employers Month, Alopecia Awareness Month. Alopecia, once again, ALOPECIA, which refers to the partial or complete loss of one's hair, baldness, like mine. Can you tell? September is also Travel Agents Month, and according to Tasty Cheese, Cheese Month. In the United States, they have even many more observances for this month of September. From Blood Cancer Awareness Month, yes, Blood Cancer Awareness Month, Healthy Aging Month, National Atrial Fibrillation Awareness Month, National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, National Cholesterol Education Month, National Food Safety Education Month, National Idiopathic Thrombocytopenic Purpura, ITP Awareness Month. All right, what is that? That one is a big one. Idiopathic Thrombocytopenic Purpura. It's an immune disorder in which the blood doesn't clot normally. This condition is now more commonly referred to as immune thrombocytopenia, ITP for short. Also in the United States, September is National Pediculosis Prevention Month. And that big word, pediculosis, just think lice, lice infection. So September is also National Pediculosis, Pediculosis, National Pediculosis Prevention Month, Head Lice Prevention Month. It used to be a big problem in Jamaica. When I used to go to school, my mother would ensure that my hair was properly washed because she didn't want me to catch lice. And but the late Barbara Gludon did an ad on the subject, an ad that was marketing a product called Kitoso. Kitoso. If you have lice infection, Kitoso. Yes, I remember that. I remember that well. So that's what this is. And so September is National Pediculosis Prevention Month. That's Head Lice Prevention Month. National Recovery Month, National Sickle Cell Month, National Yoga Awareness Month, Newborn Screening Awareness Month, Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. I think we shared that one already. That's a repeat. It's also Sepsis Awareness Month, SEPSIS. Sepsis is a serious condition resulting from the presence of harmful microorganisms in the blood or other tissues and the body's response to their presence, potentially leading. So, depending on how the body responds to that situation uh, of these harmful microorganisms in the blood or other tissues, that response could potentially lead to the malfunctioning of various organs and ultimate in a way that is quite shocking and deadly. September is also Sexual Health Awareness Month, Sports Eye Safety Month, and World Alzheimer's Month. Still in the US, today is National Celiac Disease Awareness Day, and indeed it is World Sepsis Day. Sepsis, we just described, a serious condition resulting from the presence of harmful microorganisms in the blood or other tissues, and how the body responds to the presence of these microorganisms, potentially leading to malfunctioning of various organs, shock, and death. The Argentinians are celebrating Librarians Day today. It's International Chocolate Day. Hoy es martes, el 13 de septiembre 2022. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mardi, le 13 septembre 2022, et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 13th of September, 2022, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to both sides of the story Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you've downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank those of you who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. If you're in the United States and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, you can call 0330 606 0953, 0330 606 0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook and the search box atop the page type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat. There's always YouTube. You don't need to have an account to access YouTube. All you need is a smartphone or a tablet, computer, laptop, desktop, otherwise known as a PC, and make sure that you have internet connection and not just connection. It's fine if you're connected, but you can connect it and there is no connectivity, which is key. To test for connectivity, open a browser like Google Chrome, for example, and in the search box, start typing YouTube. The box will populate before you finish typing. And if you're doing that now, you should see this video trending. If not, then in the YouTube search box, type DERVANMALCOM, and you too will be able to watch both sides of the story. 106 FM. Good afternoon to Audrey Smith. She says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners everywhere, and watching and listening from Southampton. Welcome, Audrey Smith from Southampton in the UK. Faye Weller says, afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. To you too, Faye Weller. Ricardo in Glengulf, St. Catherine. Good afternoon. Faye Weller says, I'm here watching my radio station breakdown. Uh-oh. Sorry to hear that. Wesley M. Campbell says, good afternoon. No, no, I don't have one of those, Mr. Campbell, Commissioner Campbell. I don't have one of those. Whether an honorary one or a PhD. You're very kind. Thank you very much for your message. Jacqueline Simmons, good afternoon. Blessings to you too. Thank you very much for tuning in. All the very best. Asher Ash says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Just tuning in from London, UK. Hope you have a nice day. Hope the same for you too, Asher Ash. Spa Life says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm, watching from the UK. Welcome, Spa Life. UK is a very busy place right now, isn't it? And somber in many respects, and in others, quite eventful. Ricardo, good afternoon. He's straddling both Facebook Live and YouTube. Afternoon again. Sean Chambers, good afternoon to you too. We look forward to your text messages and your WhatsApp messages and your voice notes and indeed your calls on WhatsApp. That number is 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. That's the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. As we have said, it means that you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. Let's check in with some of these messages. Joan in Bermuda is sharing with us an announcement by the government of Bermuda from Government House. Her Excellency the Governor, Ms. Rena Lalji. I had the privilege of meeting her when I was in Bermuda. She has today signed a proclamation declaring Monday, the 19th of September 2022, a public holiday in Bermuda to coincide with the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. The state funeral will be held at Westminster Abbey, following which a committal service will take place in St. George's Chapel in Windsor. So that's news out of Bermuda. Thank you very much for that message, Joan in Bermuda. Thank you. Also messaging us. Let's see. Good afternoon to Roy and the crew. Good afternoon, Jackie. I'm going to get into trouble if I start calling names now. Miss Nene, good afternoon to you too. Bunty has sent us a voice note, which we'll need to check to determine if we can play it. And let's see who else. Dwight Peters has sent us a message. He says, proud moment as our Jamaican saint, Kai Newman, continues her starring role for the iconic Italian Prada brand with the latest installment from the campaign. Straight from the Prada Instagram page, Saint rocks. Isn't she lovely? Proud agent. Words there of Dwight Peters. And we haven't seen Dwight on TV in a while. Dwight must be busy with his models all over the world. Let's see who else is messaging us. Going through. Orville Johnson, good afternoon to you. Orville Johnson of the Insurance Association of Jamaica. Yesterday we did share with him information from, who is it now? Well, we don't have to call the person's name, but information related to a particular insurance company, and the complainant sent us all the details, and we forwarded the information to Orville Johnson at the insurance agency. I beg your pardon, the Insurance Association of Jamaica, IAJ, and he has responded by saying, "Thanks, we will action." Thank you very much, and he always ensures that there is some resolution, usually mutually acceptable resolution. Thank you very much, Orville Johnson. Thank you very much for your work, and all the very best. Dorel Richards says, good evening, good afternoon, Dorel Richards. I was just about to tell you that 106.1 has broken down, but I can hear you on 106.9, but not as bright as last week. Dorel Richards, I am. Thank you very much, Dorel Richards, for that. Sorry to hear. We're sending your message to the transmission WhatsApp group right now. And we're also going to send your contact information just in case the engineers have particular questions. So they now have your as well as your contact. Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Happy Tuesday to you and your listeners. Going to my community meeting, but listening to some of your program before I leave. So sorry I will have to miss the rest of the program." Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary. No need to apologize, Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary. You are going to be pursuing your civic duty. If more of us were doing that, then surely we wouldn't have some of the issues we're having to contend with here in Jamaica. Well done, Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary. I should publicly say good afternoon to Miss Tiny as well. We were pleasantly surprised by a call from Miss Tiny today, and we had a good conversation. Good afternoon, Miss Tiny in Toronto, Canada. Always good to hear from you. Thank you. As we said now, Bunty's message, we'll have to listen to that off air. So you'll have to wait a little, Bunty. And what is this? Oh, it's a video that Raskaba has shared with us. We're never too quick to click when it comes on to videos and other links online, but we will see. We will see how that one goes. Keep those messages coming in. 876-922-4112-5 are the call-in lines. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Let's do a bit of history here now. Let's go to 1782, another reminder that Jamaica has always been at the forefront of these developments, one way or another. The British fortress at Gibraltar came under attack by French and Spanish forces on this day in 1782. Gibraltar was ceded to Britain under the Treaty of Utrecht, Gibraltar, in 1704. In 1940, the English gave orders to establish an evacuation camp for anywhere between 7,000 and 9,000 war-threatened civilian inhabitants of their Mediterranean colonies, Gibraltar and Malta. They were evacuated to Britain, Madeira, and Jamaica in order for Gibraltar to be fortified against the possibility of a German attack. By 1942, 30,000 British soldiers and airmen were found on Gibraltar, and 1,500 Gibraltarians were right here in Jamaica. The then Mona estate was considered an ideal location for a refugee camp because at that time it was government property, spacious enough, and located close to Kingston. 1814, on this day in 1814, Francis Scott Key penned a poem which is later set to music and in 1931 became America's national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. The poem, originally titled The Defense of Fort McHenry, was written after Francis Key witnessed the Maryland fort being bombarded by the British during the War of 1812. Francis Key was inspired by the sight of a lone U.S. flag still flying over Fort McHenry at daybreak. As reflected in the now famous words of the Star-Spangled Banner, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. The story of the American anthem, written by Francis Scott Key. It's a poem that he wrote that was made into a song and ultimately the national anthem of the United States of America. The first issue of The Gleaner, a page octavo size weekly, was published on this day in 1834. The first edition of The Gleaner was published on this day in 1834. It's the publishers were two half brothers, Jacob and Joshua R. de Cordova in Jamaica. Some of us say de Cordova. The offices and printery were situated at the northwest corner of Orange Street and Water Lane in downtown Kingston. The Gleaner was the successor to de Cordova's advertising sheet. The Gleaner was founded by the de Cordova brothers, whose family continued to maintain an interest in the publication for several generations. More in a moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Dana Rocker Huntington, during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-922-41125 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Dana Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
Reading make it the full man, so read and read all you can. Join a library or fire book and give it more than just a passing look. My bread alone and shall not slip, but from words of books you'll have much to give.
Back to the story of the de Cordova brothers. Jacob de Cordova, the younger brother, has even greater claim to fame outside of Jamaica. He's closely identified with the history of Texas in the United States of America. Jacob de Cordova was born in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, Jamaica, in 1808, the youngest of three sons of Judith and Raphael de Cordova, a Jewish family that had settled in Jamaica for many generations. Since his mother died at his birth, he was reared by an aunt in England. He was well educated and became proficient in English, French, Spanish, German, and Hebrew. His father, a Jewish Jamaican coffee grower and exporter, moved to Philadelphia, where he became president of Congregation Mikveh Israel in 1820. Jacob joined his father in Philadelphia, and there he married Rebecca Sterling about 1826 and learned the printing trade. His ancestors had supported themselves as printers for generations, beginning in the 16th century, when de Cordova in Spain published Alvaro Núñez Cabeza de Vacas, Explorations in Texas. Jacob de Cordova became a major real estate dealer, publisher, and promoter in Texas and represented Harris County in the state legislature. Jacob de Cordova also laid out the town of Waco, Texas, drew the first map of the state of Texas, and introduced the lodge, the Independent Order of Oddfellows, to the state. While on a visit to Jamaica in 1834, he joined his brother Joshua in founding the Gleaner. There's a public memorial to Jacob de Cordova in the state cemetery at Austin, Texas. In early 1836, Jacob went to New Orleans, where he shipped cargoes of staples to Texas during its struggle for independence. At this time, he served a term as Grand Master of the Odd Fellows. After the Battle of San Jacinto, he visited the Republic of Texas to install members in the Oddfellows Lodges, the first established outside the United States. He settled in Texas in 1839 and lived in Galveston and later Houston, where he was elected a state representative in the Second Texas Legislature in 1847. He served for one term but lost the election in 1849. De Cordova traveled extensively through Texas, including the frontier western areas. Through scrip and direct purchase, he acquired large amounts of land to sell to settlers. At one time, he had 1,000,000 acres in scrip or title. To attract settlers to Texas, he made speeches in Texas, in New York, Philadelphia, and other cities, and even to the Cotton Spinners Association in Manchester, England. His lectures were published on both sides of the Atlantic and were widely read. His land agency, which he owned with his half brother Phineas de Cordova, became one of the largest such agencies that ever operated in the Southwest. De Cordova and two other men laid out the town of Waco in 1848 49. Town lots of an acre sold for $5, and nearby farmland bought $2 to $3 an acre. At the urging of his wife, de Cordova reserved free sites for schools, churches, and commons. De Cordova and Robert Krusbar compiled the map of the state of Texas, first published in 1849. Much subsequent Texas cartography was based on this particular map, which was praised by Sam Houston, whose name lives on in Houston, Texas, praised by Sam Houston on the floor of the United States Senate. Books de Cordova wrote that were influential in attracting settlers included the Texas Immigrant and Traveler's Guidebook and Texas, Her Resources and Her Public Men, 1858. The first attempt at an encyclopedia of Texas, that's what it was. Texas, Her Resources and Her Public Men, the first attempt at an encyclopedia of Texas. Jacob and Phineas de Cordova published two early Texas newspapers, the Texas Herald, also known as de Cordova's Herald, and Immigrant's Guide, out of Houston, and the Southwestern American out of Austin, Texas. The latter was at the solicitation of Governor Peter H. Bell and helped to pass the Compromise of 1850, which resulted in a $10 million payment to Texas for adjusted boundaries after annexation. In the 1850s, de Cordova moved from Austin to Seguin, where 5 miles from town he built for his wife and 5 children a fine country home, which he called Wanderer's Retreat. In the 1860s, he tried to develop a power project on the Brazos River in Bosque County for textile mills to spin Texas cotton. The Civil War brought financial reverses to de Cordova. When he died on January 26, 1868, he was buried in Kimball, but in 1935, his body and that of his wife were moved to the state cemetery. He was survived by 5 children. The de Cordova Bend Reservoir, south of Fort Worth in Texas, near Lake Granbury, was named for him. The other Jamaican family that helped to develop Texas was the Dallas family. Dallas, Texas is named after a Kingston family whose members migrated to the USA and prospered. In 1750, at the height of the sugar boom in Jamaica, a Scots physician, Dr. Robert Dallas, migrated to Jamaica to seek his fortune. He established himself in Kingston and later bought an estate named Boar Castle in 1758 in the nearby hills. He renamed it Dallas Castle, the first time that the name was being given to a location in the New World. He established a substantial operation based on sugar and later coffee. In fact, this area is today among the main production zones of the famous Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee, and the buildings and structures of the Dallas family are still partially used for this operation. Dr. Dallas had 3 sons in Jamaica, with the youngest, Alexander, being born at Dallas Castle. In 1776, Alexander Dallas migrated to the USA and became active in public affairs. From 1814 to 1816, he was Secretary of the Treasury of the Young Republic, the second West Indian to hold this post, the first being Alexander Hamilton of St. Kitts Nevis. This Alexander Hamilton was arguably the most important figure in American history who never attained the presidency, but he had a far more lasting impact than many who did. Alexander Hamilton was a so called illegitimate, largely self taught orphan from St. Kitts Nevis who rose with stunning speed to become George Washington's aide de camp, a battlefield hero, a member of the Constitutional Convention, the leading author of the Federalist Papers, and head of the Federalist Party. As the first Treasury Secretary, Alexander Hamilton forged America's tax and budget systems. He created America's tax and budget systems, Customs Service, Coast Guard, and Central Bank. Alexander Hamilton was the first Treasury Secretary of the United States of America. The other Caribbean man to hold that position, to serve as Secretary of the Treasury of the United States, was Jamaica's Alexander J. Dallas. Alexander's son, George Mifflin Dallas, became mayor of Philadelphia and a United States senator. He was a strong supporter of President Polk in the debates on the expansion of the Union. In 1844, when Polk ran for the presidency, George Dallas was his running mate in a close battle. They were victorious. Dallas Castle was originally in the parish of Port Royal, which was later abolished. Dallas Castle was then subsumed in the parish of St. Andrew. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Earlier on, we did make the point that today, or shared the information that today is Chocolate Day. And let's make a chocolate connection here. International Chocolate Day. Today is International Chocolate Day. All right, since we're on the subject of chocolate, let's go to 1847. Milton Hershey, Hershey, Milton Hershey, founder of the famous candy company, born on this day in 1847. So pull the little paper sticking out of the foil. That's right. Now carefully unwrap the silver foil. Voila, a milk chocolate delight, and just one of the many chocolate products produced by the Hershey Chocolate Company. Milton S. Hershey was born on this day in 1847. By the time he was in his mid-30s, he had developed the Great American Chocolate Bar, or Hershey bar, as it is known throughout the world. The bar of solid milk chocolate became the foundation of his company and his fortune, and the foundation of Hershey, Pennsylvania. Milton Hershey would be proud to know that the sweet cocoa smell of chocolate still permeates his hometown and home of the Hershey Chocolate Factory. He would also find that some Hershey Hotel guest rooms include cocoa butter soap as an amenity. And the streetlights are in the shape of chocolate candy kisses. So there's another connection, historical connection for you here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, 1851. What happened in 1851? Was that the exhibition, Jamaica exhibition? I think so. But anyway, 1851, U.S. Army Dr. Walter Reed, R-E-E-D, was born. It was Dr. Reed who discovered a cure for yellow fever. Walter Reed Army Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, is named in his honor. Alain Locke, writer and first African-American Rhodes Scholar, born on this day in 1886. And The Gleaner Company became a public company with one of its co-founders, Joshua de Cordova, becoming secretary and managing director. He and his younger half-brother, as we told you earlier on, Jacob, published the first edition of the Gleaner on this day, the 13th of September, 1834. And let's go now to 18. Though we have time, I think it's coming up to the break. A few seconds before the break. Let's take the break and come back with more in just a moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock. Luxury beaches, countless grains of pure white sand, tranquil breeze and palm trees, our beautiful island Jamaica. Oh, Jamaica. We miss the vibrancy of our tourism product, but hope is on the horizon. At Exim Bank, we know that SMEs in the tourism industry need support to keep this vision alive, to strengthen one of our country's strongest assets. Let us help you to build a better future for your business. Ask about our small and medium-sized tourism enterprise loan today. Borrow up to $25 million with interest rates as low as 4.5% and up to 7 years to repay. You can breathe easy. Enjoy your progress and continue contributing to Brand Jamaica. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihood.
With over 40 years of record service, Lock Safe and Vault Limited is your trusted security provider. Get affordable prices on a wide variety of seals, garage doors, access control supplies, magnetic lock, fingerprint, weatherproof keypads, card access system, time attendants, power supplies, and exit buttons. Professional services provided. Visit 40 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8. Problem solved with Lock Safe and Vault.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
And I feel it gives you confidence in you. Reading maketh a good man, so read and read all you can. Join a library or buy a book and give it more than just a passing look. Direct alone, man shall not slip, but from words of course you have much to give.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaner's website, go-jamaica.com. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. Here's a message from Horace, otherwise known as Spider. Good afternoon. If Jesus cannot die, then how come the Bible said Jesus give his life to save mankind if he cannot die? The Bible said God sent two angels to, where is this? Sadon. Not sure where that is, to find some righteous people. But why did God have to do that? If he is God, doesn't God, don't God knows everything? Asks Spider, otherwise known as Horace. And here is another on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. This is a WhatsApp message. Good day, Mr. Malcolm. Would I be correct in deducing that anyone who fought for the independence of Texas would have been fighting for the retention of slavery, since the Civil War was fought by Texas and other states in an attempt to secede from the rest of the United States so that they could continue the brutalizations of Black Africans? I wouldn't be surprised. Crocs in Black River, and it's a reasonable position to take. Thank you very much for your message. Cuban in Georgia says, "Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I'm trying to figure out how come black peoples fight against themselves and the Africans are so greedy for money and don't have any financial plans whatsoever. What are we doing to ourselves and the future of our island?" Well, the struggle continues, doesn't it? And things are not what they used to be, but we also notice that things have become, in a strange sort of way, in some respects, perhaps what they shouldn't be at this stage in our development. Thank you for your message, Cuban in Georgia. Oh, we still didn't get to listen to Bunty's message off air. Sorry about that, Bunty. We'll have to wait for another commercial break. 876-922-4112 the numbers to call. Text line 876-365-3346. It's the same as the WhatsApp number. Let's look at the year 1899. In New York City, Henry Bliss became the first automobile fatality. Henry Hale Bliss was the first person killed in a motor vehicle accident in the United States. On this day, the 13th of September, 1899, he was disembarking from a streetcar at West 74th Street and Central Park West in New York City when an electric-powered taxicab, automobile number 43, struck him and crushed. Oh dear, a little graphic here. Let's jump that. But sadly, he died from his injuries the next morning. Arthur Smith, the driver of the taxicab, was arrested and charged with manslaughter, but was acquitted on the grounds that it was unintentional. The passenger, Dr. David Edson, was the son of former New York City Mayor Franklin Edson. A plaque was dedicated at the site on September 13, 1999, to commemorate this event. It reads, "Here at West 74th Street and Central Park West, Henry H. Bliss dismounted from a streetcar and was struck and knocked unconscious by an automobile on the evening of September 13, 1899. When Mr. Bliss, a New York real estate man, died the next morning from his injuries, he became the first recorded motor vehicle fatality in the Western Hemisphere. This sign was erected to remember Mr. Bliss on the centennial of his untimely death and to promote safety on our streets and highways. Bliss's death was the first recorded vehicle-related fatality in the Western Hemisphere. However, prior to his death, there were two such deaths in Europe. Bridget Driscoll was killed by a car in the grounds of the Crystal Palace, Sydenham in London in 1896, and Mary Ward was killed by a steam-powered car in Ireland in 1869. Another one for you. The mercury climbed to 136 degrees Fahrenheit in El Azizia, Libya, the highest temperature ever recorded on Earth. We sure hope they had plenty of lemonade on hand. Goodness, that's piping hot. 136 degrees Fahrenheit. The Savoy Hotel in Christiana, Manchester, began laying out a 9-hole golf course for their guests on this day in 1935. Chiang Kai-shek became the president of China in 1943. Lady Huggins, wife of the governor Sir John Huggins, declared officially opened the Priory School on Hope Road in St. Andrew. The founder and principal was Henry Fowler. I believe that's the same Henry Fowler who was involved with the Little Theatre Movement, the LTM, responsible for the pantomimes in Jamaica. The BITU, through its Assistant General Secretary Hugh Shearer, served a demand on the management of the Royal Refrigeration Company, Princess Street, Kingston, for a 13.33% wage increase, with time and a half pay for the workers, except Sundays and public holidays, for which double time pay is asked right through. Shearer also asks for 2 weeks vacation leave for the workers with full pay and 2 weeks sick leave with full pay for daily workers after 250 accumulated working days. Margaret Chase Smith was elected to the U.S. Senate and became the first woman to serve in both houses of the U.S. Congress. Here in Jamaica, Robert Macmillan was born, son of Vida Nay Fullerton and Dudley Macmillan, champion in the advertising business. The School of Performing Arts opened in New York City. It was the first public school to specialize in the performing arts. It happened on this day in 1948. Now listen to this one. Right here in Jamaica, 1948. What was then the League of Nations and has since become known as the United Nations. On this day in 1948, the League of Nations Narcotics Committee named Jamaica and Trinidad as the most prolific source of ganja, which it describes as the most dangerous drug in the world. According to the committee, it is grown in Kingston's backyards, smoked at religious revival meetings of a weird Poco sect, enabling the women and small girls to dance for hours on end without collapsing. What a thing. That's where we're coming from. 1948. On this day in 1948, the League of Nations, now known as the United Nations Narcotics Committee, named Jamaica and Trinidad as the most prolific source of ganja, which it describes as the most dangerous drug in the world. According to the committee, it is grown in Kingston's backyards, smoked at religious revival meetings of a weird Poco sect, enabling the women and small girls to dance for hours on end without collapsing. What a thing. The Ladies Professional Golf Association of Jamaica was formed on this day in 1949. On this day in 1956, lightning struck King's House. At the time, King's House was the official residence of the Governor of Jamaica, Hugh Foote and Lady Foote. At the time of the lightning strike, Lady Foote was using the telephone. She was thrown to the floor by the shock. She was shaken, but otherwise unhurt. Must have been quite scary. On this day in 1956, the new highway from Dunrobin Avenue, Halfway Tree, to Spanish Town Road is officially named Washington Boulevard by the Roads and Works Committee of the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation. That was 1956. 1957, Daisy Henriquez is named captain of the Jamaica team for the Women's Triangular Hockey Series with Trinidad and British Guiana, which started in Jamaica on October 7. The Jamaica Hockey Association also appointed Leela Robinson of the UCWI, that's University College of the West Indies, now known as the University of the West Indies. This is the reason if you ever hear your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents refer to the university hospital as UC, it's because that's what it was called for short, because it was originally known as the University College of the West Indies, UCWI. UCWI. And the name Leela Robinson, there's the Leela Robinson Court named in her honor. That's another noteworthy mention. All right, let's go to 1976 now. Attorney Ian Ramsey, who was expelled from the Jamaica Labour Party 2 days earlier, issued a statement that Bruce Golding, the General Secretary, was only meekly carrying out the dictates of the leader of the party, Edward Seaga, to get rid of the sole independent voice within the JLP. Only sycophants, he says, can regard his actions as rude and offensive, and he reminds Golding that by letter of June 22, he had asked Seaga to step down from the leadership because of his error of judgment in accepting former PNP activist Herb Rose into the JLP structure. Yes, the political toing and froing has been going on for a long time in this country within both political parties at different times in their respective history.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Reading make it the fun man, so read and read all you can. Join the library or buy a book, Thanksgiving is more than just a passing look. For bread alone and shall not sleep, your strong words of books, you'll have much to give. Reading make it the fun man, so read and read all you can. Join the library or buy a book, and give it more than just a passing look. For bread alone and shall not slip, the strong words.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And we touched on the politics going to the break. I'll share another piece with you. Around this time around this day in 1978, the Daily Gleaner is described by Prime Minister Michael Manley as the harlot of Harbour Street, which, with its removal from downtown Kingston to North Street, is now the call girl of North Street. Addressing the 40th anniversary of the annual conference of the People's National Party, Manley identifies its columnists as pimps, the chief of which is the former chairman of the Jamaica Labour Party, who was Hector Winter. That's another piece of our political history. And for those who don't believe we've come a long way where these things are concerned, to the point where Jamaica holds the position of, is it third position? Last time I checked on the index looking at press freedom. Yeah, we've come a long way in that regard, haven't we? Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, my dear.
Hi, Miss Mervis. How are you?
I'm here plodding along as usual and listening to you and learning all the history.
Happy to hear that.
What do you mean? Your program is so informative.
Thank you.
But you know, some have 1 more than 2 years.
I wasn't the one who said it. It was a philosopher by the name of Epictetus.
It came up on the program. So.
Epictetus.
It
Epictetus.
came up on the program, so it's good to listen.
Yes, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth,
yes.
Which means we should listen twice as much as we speak. Yes.
Yes, man. So what happened is that all that this I remember the last time I spoke to you, I was saying something about this phone company.
Yes.
So you can't get them to talk to you.
Yes.
You know, some phone still have half an hour on it. And it's very expensive. What them call them, I give it
plan.
Easy for bungle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very expensive bungle when we have. the phone, you know what time about 6 or 7 times inside, so them a fix the phone, you know.
But the name alone should be a turn off. Bungle.
No,
Bungle.
yes, but me tell you
It's
for the
a.
radio, otherwise I mean I love car bungle. No, because from me young me you see about bungle, so
Yes.
me I like bungle, but what eventually my lot of the programs I was doing was on what was sort of closed down.
Right.
And it's like the king I tell me to restart, get me in myself in a position to restart them. So that's why at one time I tell you, so when me ready for restart, you go to hear me calling you back. Because all the reading program, the education. Hello?
I'm listening.
Oh, me hear something, I go and let the phone out to cut off.
Uh-oh.
Yes, man. The education program is still sitting here and the whole system is in a mess. Yeah? So I have to follow behind the God of the national anthem. We always tell me greet the nation when we start this thing wrong, you know. Because I only put God's out there, you understand?
Yes.
So until me talk God enough of the national anthem in responding to it. Not even me, a Father Sherlock request him I respond to around here. Mm-hmm. So me can't pop style for nothing around here. And then the national pledge again when we say so that Jamaica may under who? Not Labour Right and PNP or the denomination, but under who? Under God, right?
Yes.
So on that premise, him send me out here with all of them stuff, so I'm not taking no honor, no glory for nothing at all. But just being a pipeline, like, yes. You know? Mm-hmm. Yes, man. So the other day he said to me, I keep saying that our political leaders don't listen to us, you know?
Yes.
They most likely listen to foreigners and doing everything for please foreigners like the bunch of, with a bunch of fools out there. But why is it Jamaicans perform so well when them go foreign? Hmm? Yeah, man. Them do all what the foreigner them can't do, you know, and them can't say we are world leader, all know we no follow. Therefore, the logo that he gave me for the ministry around here is a outstretched hand with the nation in the hand, you know. It is depicting the fact that the national anthem placed the nation in his hand. There's a card from the nation going down to the bottom of the page, and it has the globe onto it. Simply mean Jamaica, the world leader.
Yes.
And he talk about the power of the mind. He said not gun power, not military might, but the power, mind power. The power of the mind of the message I give for bring out here a long time. The reggae boys should have taken it to France and bring back the World Cup, and me try, me couldn't get them for the powers that be to take it. You see it? So that is why them blaming Whitmore now, but Whitmore not to be blamed. That football thing in 97, 98, when you look at it, God sends him use it to sow the seed of national pride and dignity, what the nation need.
Yes.
So the guys should have named ambassadors and not reggae. Boys, I said that to Simon from way down there in the 98, you know. Call him for one program, I couldn't get him after the program. I tell him say the name but I'm going out there with wrong, it come from foreign. Just tell him ambassadors to national pride and dignity, they're not supposed to name the ambassadors. And there's a citation with that guango tree root setting at the map of Jamaica, a piece of art where each of them should have take from me with a citation underneath it. And I was supposed to explain it to them. Well, I wasn't allowed to do so. So what happened is that all the foreign coaches were coming in. Nobody did what Whitmore did. None of them. Them going back for the foreign coach again. Whitmore was the young man who kicked the 2 goals and must win the only match or something in France. You see, God is using some kind of situation to get some messages across that the nation is not taking serious. Huh? You see, so we're going around in circle and wasting money on some unproductive programs and strategies. So it's like I have been told to take this bungle with them giving up, because I never take no bungle. But since I the bungle them I use, they were there send me the money to pay for the bungle, because I don't have any. So it's like if I show me now some need to go set up this thing, and the whole media, everybody in this nation, this the year of national repentance, reconciliation declared for 93, given to PJ Pattis and other people. Nothing done to it. Him said the nation need to realize, come November, him God need to see it activated. All I needed to have given the thing was them blessing, you know. The thing supposed to walk through the JTA from way down there, because the same day I went to the JTA first and gave it to the parish president and the secretariat. The part that belonged to the school. Went up to Jamaica House and left the other part there for the Prime Minister and with a cover letter for him to see me to explain it. To date him never have any time to see me. So God sent him sit down in the wings long enough and wait and watch that generation being destroyed. Because what him sent me out here to do is to stop a generation from being destroyed. And it's that generation is giving most of the problem from 93 up, war in the school system coming up. That's where the problem lies. You know, I'm trying to correct it from way down there, Dervan. And the people them sit down and reject and everyone turn and pick out piece out of it. And it don't work. You know? So him said to me the other day, he said I'm gonna pull the carpet right on the station. I said to Miss Williams, that's the fire that must steal them thing a cool breeze. And Tanas in a point of dance. I said to Miss Williams down the road. You see, but God is very patient and long suffering. You know? And he will sit down there and wait until it get to a point. The prayer where we pray coming like a wood and stone we talk to. And he will defend his name. And he said, come November, sick, lame and lazy. This program must begin. Because everybody must get involved in a church thing alone. Is the business people, is the school system, is the home, is everybody, the media, the agriculture, everything must get in, every sector must get involved with that. So from November straight to October the following year now. And it's nobody from foreign is going to be allowed to change this nation. Instead he's going to use whatever means is forced upon him to bring this ungrateful, stiff-necked, disobedient nation to its knees and teach it through independence. That's got to deal with, So nothing what them use from anywhere is going to work. It might look like it, but it's not going to work. God said him give the nation what it takes to change it and deal with the powers that be are the problem. Them are the blockade. So him say ain't going to pull the carpet from under the feet of the political leaders. I don't know what that means in other one. I delivering a message. You see? You see the first one when pull? Eh?
What about it?
The first one when pull of the queen,
Oh.
I shortly after him said that to me 2 days after the queen died. Because this matter of
Sounds like you're a very powerful woman, Miss Mervis.
No, that is. I'm just uttering what he said.
Oh.
I keep telling people I have not no guru and nothing wrong here. All me have is a diploma in a primary education. I was going to the university to do a bachelor's when he tell me resign and come deal with this program. Nobody else around here beside me. Not a church. It's not a big organization. I am just like I'm at a switchboard receiving. And him say I'm going to pull the carpet from under the feet. And it might not mean all leaders, But you see this matter of getting rid of this queen thing and making the nation independent. The Almighty is but a long time you tell Miss Williams said God said the nation it's not independent,
But on the subject of pulling the rug from under the feet of people and referencing the queen.
No, it's a political leaders. Leaders.
But you mentioned the queen.
Yes, but they say.
Why did you mention the queen?
Because the matter of the matter with the governor general and this whole thing and the politicians that they're dragging the feet with this queen thing. Are you going in the courthouse and hear in Her Majesty? Whether I thought a queen or a king was there in that position. You see?
But at age 96, surely, at some point, something would happen.
No, not that. Me tell you what the king said. What the king of kings and the lord of lords say. He started up because when me hear them say, you're going to say His Royal Highness. His Royal Highness what? That done.
It's not royal.
That done.
It would be His Majesty.
His Majesty. God said that done.
Oh.
And if they not finish it, that's why he said, I'm going to do something that we're not going to like. Because look for when
So what are you seeing? What are we supposed to do in order to prevent or stave off? In order to stave off the wrath of God?
They must not deal with this nonsense about Jamaica being under Queen. When we get independence, it's to how much years? No, we're not independent.
Oh, so you're talking about the system of government that we need to fast track.
Oh yes.
The transition, Jamaica's transition from a constitutional monarchy to a republic.
Something like that, but if they don't pull it up, I don't know what I mean by pulling the rug under the leaders, them feet. Because of them in the way all along. And if she move now, so them should have find it easy. You understand?
Uh-huh.
So me I say it on care so if anything happen them. Enough thing me say to them in a letters and nobody not pay me no mind, you know. Nobody think me just a talk. Along down the road me I write letters to them, some of them not answer the letter them. You see it? So God tell me speak it on the ear, make the people hear that him hear the cries of the people and the suffering. You know, the COVID, they make sure they get more foreign exchange, they get more tax than ever, what they never do nothing to take off the pressure for the people and the dollar value. Yeah, the people are foreign talk about how much money they get with each other because the dollar don't have no value. And your program is speaking in the Tivoli incursion, your same program will tell the business people to stop peddling the Jamaican dollar. Stop it because it will cause the problem now. Cause the dollar, the buying and selling of the money.
We're going to have to leave it on that note, Miss Mervis. We have a scheduled interview coming up. Thanks for the call.
And thanks for listening.
Sure. Take care.
Books and pop, all the news sound serious, sound amusing too. You'll
Protecting
understand.
Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging. Immune Active Denk, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. And Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship, and to serve, presents Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with host Alicia Taylor and rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson airs every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
This is Jamaica. This is my country. A son of this island, a daughter of this land. Fearless of fear, I stand in awe. Only love prevails, secured in God's hands. This is Jamaica, where joy cometh in the morn, surrounded by mystic waters, crashing upon the shores where only heroes are born. Only if you knew Jamaica as well as I do, then you would utter, I love you, Jamaica. God knows I do. This is Jamaica, a simple speck in the universe. Our hearts beat and pulse in every nation, but only second to the kingdom of God. We put Jamaica first. I am Jamaican, regardless of where you may find me. Black, green, and gold is the marrow in my bones. So if I die away from my island, I pray to God you'll take me home.
It's that time once again, a Tuesday afternoon, just after 3:30, and that means time for our This is Jamaica interview segment, and we are getting ready to officially welcome our guests joining us online at this time. For This is Jamaica, the husband and wife team of Dr. and Mrs. Julie Villeneuve Dice, Dr. and Mrs. Dice, joining us at a time when we are continuing the build-up to the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition 2022. And so we are delighted to have Dr. and Mrs. Dice join us, representing. They're title sponsors actually of the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition 2022 through their brand Education Solutions International. Good afternoon, Dr. and Mrs. Dice. How are you?
Very good. Good afternoon, Dervan. Always a pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to have you both join us here on both sides of the story in our This is Jamaica segment, interview segment, every Tuesday just after 3:30 Jamaica time, which is just after 4:30 Eastern Daytime. So tell us then, Dr. Dice, can you remind us, first of all, of the essence of your organization, Education Solutions International, please?
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Malcolm, and I'm very happy to spend the afternoon with you for a little bit.
Thank
and
you.
your audience.
Thank you.
So Education Solutions International really was birthed out of the idea of supporting Jamaicans in the form of students as well as educators, and also the Caribbean and certain parts of the diaspora and the world and the globe with scholarship and grants, and also to provide professional development in order to bolster the education system in these regions wherever they need help. So that's what it's birthed out of. And so providing scholarships and grants, we have to raise money for that cause. So we provide services outside of charitable work. We provide paid services at affordable cost as well. Mm-hmm. So Education Solutions International is actually doing a wonderful job, and we're Judy and myself are very happy and to take off so much. We never expected it to take off at this speed because we see the need of people through their emails and their messages to us, as well as we look at students and we see that the need for support is also there, and teachers as well.
And happy you mentioned teachers, because that's where I'm going next. Judy Villeneuve Dice, we've been hearing a lot about teacher migration and displacement and the impact on the education system here in Jamaica. And then it was brought to our attention that, hey, this is not just Jamaica. Look at the rest of the world. And we were reading stories from all over the world along those lines. I'm just wondering if you have a perspective on this situation, which is not necessarily new because it's been going on for some time. But the argument now is that it seems more pronounced now more than ever. What are we going to do, Judy Villeneuve Dice?
Well, Dervan, I'm glad you said the fact that this is not the first time this has happened, right? What has happened is where there is change, there's also growth. And where you have a situation where people are traveling and moving around, they bring back resources and they contribute and they make room for the people who remain there to develop themselves. So we're really looking to the Jamaicans that are teachers that are remaining in Jamaica, as this is their opportunity to really shine. As you know, there are a lot of educational institutions training teachers in Jamaica. I think we have some of the best institutions there. They're turning out the kinds of teachers that people want all around the world, right? So we know that. But the thing is that at the same time, there are no countries sending their teachers to Jamaica. So we really do need teachers there to be developed so that they can support our children so that they could be the next generation of successful citizens, and not just Jamaican citizens, but we want them to be successful world citizens. So I don't see this as too much of a detriment. I see this as an opportunity. for the community, for the government, educational community in particular, to really double down and to really value the resources that we have remaining in Jamaica so that they can be the shining star for our students coming up.
Very well put. Thank you very much. So, Dr. Dice, tell us how you found out about This is Jamaica Inc. and why you decided to come on board to, in a major way, sponsor the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition.
Yes, before I go there, Dervan, I want to mention also to contribute to
The
what
discussion?
Judith mentioned.
Sure, by all means, go right ahead.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that it's not, because we discussed this a lot in our portfolio as leaders in Education Solutions International and in the diaspora pertaining to education, because she's policy and education, all my training and experience is in education and educational leadership. And when you look at a system, education system, in this time of what other people would refer to as turmoil and turnover and so on, and you mentioned that it's happening over the world as well, it's a time for all of us to reflect on our own structure and then reinforce that structure from within when you're having renewal phases like this. So this happened every now and then. It happened in the 1950s in Jamaica or early 60s, and that's when the teachers' colleges started to appear, and teacher training starting to become more robust. So that's where we realized that this is happening, but it's a time for renewal. It's a time for double down and getting serious about nation building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and it starts with education.
Absolutely.
Now, pertaining to This is Jamaica and our involvement, Education Solutions involvement in it. I knew Peter Gracie a while now, about two and a half years now, and I've heard about and promoted This is Jamaica, the competition in the past, and I was approached by him and Dr. Karen Dunkley, the representative from Northeast, Jamaica, that's from Northeast, about this initiative and the opportunity to give back to Jamaica in terms of practical ways of giving back to Jamaica, not just through TVs and training teachers and principals and so on. And we said, yes, we would do something about this aspect of education, which is it's in the backbone of Jamaican poetry. Poetry is something that is part of our culture. And so that when we look at it and we decided that we would contribute to the initiative to help students get a promotion, but also get the financial support through their creative work.
Mm-hmm. And Judy Villeneuve Dice, give us a sense of why Education Solutions International thought it necessary to throw its weight behind the This is Jamaica a poetry scholarship competition.
Well, we have a lot of respect for Peter Gracie, and we love the nationalist aspect of the poem. We love encouraging students, of course, to be creative and to demonstrate their talents. And we put ourselves behind whatever students are doing. So this was one of the first initiatives. We have several in the works, and it definitely won't be the last. Because as Dr. Dice mentioned, the purpose of establishing the organization was primarily for the purpose of supporting students through scholarships and whatever other resources that they need in order for them to be successful in schools in Jamaica as well as schools around the world. So this just seems like a wonderful opportunity to start our initiative strong. and to provide the financial support that was necessary in order for whatever student is selected to be able to get the benefit of that financial resource, because we know that they need them. But we really do put our efforts behind whatever we can do to support students, which led to, of course, the different trainings that we offer, many of which are free, but some are low cost paid, because we needed to generate the income in order to continue to expand on the kinds of scholarships that we donate to. So currently we're looking at several schools that need assistance and identifying what resources that we have so far that we can continue to contribute. So this is just another absolutely wonderful opportunity to be able to support students through Peter Gracie's initiative.
Indeed. And when we come back from this break, bear with us, hang on a moment. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, it's our regular Tuesday afternoon feature. This is Jamaica, brought to you by Peter Gracie's This is Jamaica, the organization that he formed, which essentially started as a poem. And from a poem to an organization, and then in addition to that, a weekly interview here on both sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. And this week, we're featuring the husband and wife team of Dr. Dwayne Dice and Mrs. Judy Villeneuve Dice, as they share with us the work of the organization Education Solutions International, and also their work alongside This is Jamaica and Peter Gracie for the poetry scholarship competition. There's more in just a moment.
So read and read all you can.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years, and that's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. Wednesdays on Power 106 FM.
Are you ready, king of the world?
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we're in the This is Jamaica interview segment here on Both Sides of the Story. Our guests, Dr. Dwayne Dice and Mrs. Judy Villeneuve Dice, the husband and wife team at Education Solutions International, playing their part in the development of education sectors, not just here in Jamaica, but all over the world, not least of all in the United States of America as well. And let's resume our conversation. So now, with respect to the competition itself, Dr. Dice, you are Education Solutions Limited is a major sponsor of the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship competition. What are your impressions of how things have started so far? I believe was it the 5th of September? I think you started accepting applications or entries.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
entries, yes.
Yes.
It's really application.
Mm-hmm.
But there was there's a pre-state where sometime in July or August, I believe, when we sent out the application so that people could pre-register, and there was a time there that they sent in early application for it. And the official launch of the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship competition it is on September 6th. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're right with that. And so people can go to people meaning students. We're asking teachers to share the information, teachers and principals to share the information with students to go to thisisjamaica.org and to browse on that website. I believe it's on the front page of the website, and they will get access to the application. And they'll fill out that application, and they'll upload a video of the student reciting the poem. And the poem it's supposed to be very artistic and expressive in the student's own way of doing it. However, they want to be creative, and they'll submit that video, and then there's a panel of judges who will judge the rendition of the poem, and so they'll be in that competition to win the prizes. So there are 3 prizes, and all of it contains money. The first prize is $1,000 US. The second prize is $500 US, and the third prize is $250 US. So a lot of people, students who want to submit their application and rendition in the form of a video, they are going up to win the first prize. And if they don't, then they'll try to get the second or the third prize.
I see. And this is for students, is it 6 to 17, I believe?
Yes. So age 6 to 17, from anyone attending primary school or high school, and they have to be in Jamaica, anywhere in Jamaica, attending primary or high school from age 6 to 17.
And since these are children we're talking about, they would need permission from their parents and guardians, correct?
Oh yes, definitely. There is there's a form that is being shared on thisisjamaica.org, and that contains the permission form from their parents and also the application, so they can follow the steps on there to submit their video as well as the application form, their name and their simple demographic data on there.
Yes.
The information on there, I know this is a lot of information given out over the years, but to send the video is to send it to This Is Jamaica Scholarship at gmail.com. This is Jamaica Scholarship at gmail.com. But if people want to just think about getting to one place to get all the information, then they should go to thisisjamaica.org, and they'll get the information in one place.
Very good. And Judy Villeneuve Dice, give us a sense of how you see a competition, an event such as this is Jamaica. This is Jamaica Scholarship, Poetry Scholarship competition. How the kind of characteristics in these impressionable students, how you see the participation in this kind of competition can impact our students, our children between 6 and 17 years old.
Well, this is an example of an opportunity for children to be able to demonstrate their confidence, their mastery, memorization of the material, the poem in this case, and making it their own. And also, using technology, which is something that obviously we're always trying to encourage students to do in order for them to show them their best selves, right? So this is an opportunity, a multi-layered learning experience. We need our children to be confident. We need our children to believe in themselves, which the poem speaks to, and understand who they are, where they're from, and to appreciate that. But also to be able to deliver a poem successfully, you have to really ingest the meaning behind the words. And so what those patriotic words and those self-motivating words are, the kinds of impression and the kind of feelings and understanding of themselves that we want those children to have. We want them to build their confidence. We want them to value themselves and their country. We want them to highlight their best selves. And as you and I know, all of us on this call, life is a performance. it really is very important to get the practice.
Shakespeare said it best. Sorry to cut you. Shakespeare said it best. All the world's a stage. Didn't he say that?
Exactly.
Yes.
So this opportunity for kids to develop their ability to be able to, actively speak something in public or for public consumption in a way that's dynamic is going to take them very far. They're going to be using it in multiple ways, and it's wonderful that Peter Gracie has come up with this opportunity for them to do it in this particular way. But, because our focus is always education, we see this as a really great educational opportunity for the individual student, not just for school, but for life. So, yeah, that's what I would say would be the benefit of this. And we're really looking forward to seeing those videos and seeing what our kids have to offer, because we know there's a lot of talent out there, and we're looking forward to seeing it.
Absolutely. And for those listening, maybe they are administrators in primary schools, high schools, maybe at the kindergarten level or early childhood level, and they're hearing about yes, they're hearing about This Is Jamaica and the scholarship, poetry scholarship competition, but they're also getting a sense of the offerings of Education Solutions International Incorporated. And I'm just wondering, with all the challenges within the educational sectors at home and abroad, what are some of the areas or services that would be on offer at a time like this as an organization? Some of the ways in which you can help educators to better manage and essentially execute a structured educational program of development. Uh, for you, yeah, I know you can both answer actually, but let's go with you first, Dr. Dice.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. You're welcome. I think one of the biggest things that in any not even not just Jamaica, but right across the region, I think schools really need to focus on building community.
Mhm.
We really need to focus on mindfulness, and I'm not talking about going out and doing yoga and meditation like the Buddha out in the schoolyard. I'm talking about taking care of themselves as a community in the school and treating everyone as an important part of that community, whether it be teacher or student. And then, if I dare, I really wish my hope for all educational leaders is to see themselves as not just the leader in a school, but a community leader. And if you see yourself as a community leader, then you'll start visiting churches, worship with people, visiting families, going to the hospitals, visiting sick people, inviting students to become a part of this movement of building community. Because we're losing that.
Yes.
And whenever we have struggles in the school community, pertaining to professional development or instructional learning and execution of lessons, classroom management, and so on. It all boils down to building community.
Mm.
If we have more community mindfulness in school, then we'll have a little bit more ways of helping students to develop the values that we grew up on, because we're losing those values.
Yes.
So that's where I would start in these days,
Mm-hmm.
To try to go back to the concept of community and the mindfulness of people, so we maintain those values.
Yes. And as for you, Mrs. Villeneuve Dice, in terms of the areas that those listening to us who have an interest can call upon your organization, Educational Solutions International, to assist in. as a
Yes.
as a
So
professional entity, professional arrangement.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So what we do is we provide a variety of services for education communities, schools in particular, large organizations that are dedicated to the service of education, as well as government entities and local districts. So what we try to do, and that's a lot of what Dr. Dice was saying, is that our trainings are divided up into several different areas. We have leadership and planning, implementation and policy design, transformation, of an educational system that they believe needs work, and we mind brainstorm with them in order to identify with them what changes they'd like to make and walk them through the project management training process. We also have different trainings around global citizenship. In other words, just really being able to understand our role in the world and trying to make sure that that information trickles down to the students so they have more of a vision around how they can start to perceive themselves as far as the goals that they have for their own educational attainment and their ultimately their careers. So these are the kinds of training programs that Dr. Dice and I lead, and we engage with different schools that are interested in having this kinds of training. They could write to us at edusolutionsintl@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to work with them within their budget, of course, for whatever kinds of assistance that they need.
Hold on, don't move. We'll allow you to pick up the point after we need to wrap now, but let's take the break and come back, and you can give us those details.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Tune in to Farm Talk every second and third Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for the feature Hyper Food Independence. Hyper Food Independence will focus on solutions for farmers, such as land, animal husbandry, agronomy, and more. That's Hyper Food Independence every second and third Tuesday from 6:18 to 6:30 a.m. during Farm Talk, only on Power 106 FM. Hyper Food Independence is sponsored by Hypro.
We didn't make us a fun man, so read and read all you can. Join the library or buy a book, and give it more than just a passing look. Vibrate on your own and shall not slip. From words of books, you'll have much to give. We didn't make us a fun man, so read and read.
Que ora es en español, son las 4:01 que la retilo en français, les 4:01.现在 TDN 了4点01分. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now's a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with you on yet another edition of Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. It's the This Is Jamaica interview segment. This is Jamaica in association with Dr. Dwayne Dice through the organization Education Solutions International, Inc., presenting the second annual Peter Gracie This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition 2022, in search of the best video rendition of This is Jamaica by Peter Gracie. Registration is open, and I believe will go until the 23rd. Then the first round video rendition must be submitted by the 30th of September. The cohort we're talking about, students between 6 and 17. Those are the ones who are invited to participate, and they must have the approval of their parents and guardians as well. And we look forward to the competition and wish all participants all the very best. And we thank Dr. Dwayne Dice and Mrs. Villeneuve Dice for their commitment and their support and endorsement of the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition, and thank them for the prizes as well. First place, 1,000 US dollars, second place, 500 US, and third place, 250 US dollars. And I see, I think, where did it go? Looks like Dr. Dice has just posted the link. I think so. Not seeing it yet, but I saw a pop up somewhere. But the link is thisisjamaica.org. Thisisjamaica.org. So as we wrap, you are giving us some contact details, just how for those, especially at a time like this when educators all over the world need all the help they can get. We want to make it clear that there's an organization that is prepared to find solutions and ways in which to help and to partner in matters to do with education and training and so on and so forth. So you can go ahead now, please, Mrs.
Yes,
Dice.
absolutely. You're absolutely on point. Between the two of us, Dr. Dice and myself, we have over 35 years of professional experience in leadership around education and policy and classroom instruction and the whole gamut. So instead of just keeping it for ourselves and using it, individually, we want to make sure that this gets to the people who need it most and the people that we care about the most. And those are our fellow educators in Jamaica and in other and distributed across the diaspora. So what people need to know is that any investment working with Education Solutions International is an investment in their country and in their students, because this is the way that we, through low cost and free conversations and training, what we do is we use that money to invest in programs like the one that we are sponsoring. So, Peter Gracie's initiative is an example of where our money goes when we do the work for our community. So if people are interested in learning more, they can always go on to educationsolutionsinternational.org to subscribe. But if they want immediate assistance or they want to start discussing how they can improve their school in a variety of ways between education, leadership, and classroom instruction, they can write to us at edusolutionsintl@gmail.com. And they can also get access to that email through the website at educationsolutionsinternational.org, where they can find out more about what we're doing.
Sounds good. I have no doubt we'll have reason to speak with one or both of you again before the end of the month. We look forward to following the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition, and again, recognizing the sponsorship support of Education Solutions International. We thank you both very much for making the time to be with us on the interview segment of This is Jamaica, the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition. It's well and truly underway. Registration has started, and we encourage our students 6 to 17 to take advantage. Thank you both very much, and we look forward to speaking again soon.
Thank you.
Take care. You're welcome.
You too. Bye bye. So there you have it, the husband and wife team of Dr. Dwayne and Mrs. Dice, Dr. Dwayne Dice and Mrs. Judy Villeneuve Dice of Education Solutions International, title sponsors of the This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition 2022. And we look forward to the competition. Keep listening, and we'll keep you posted.
This is Jamaica. This is my country. A son of this island, a daughter of this land. Fearless of fear, I stand in awe. Only love prevails, secured in God's hands. This is Jamaica, where joy cometh in the morn, surrounded by mystic waters, crashing upon the shores, where only heroes are born. Only if you knew Jamaica as well as I do, then you would utter, I love you, Jamaica. God knows. God knows I do. This is Jamaica, a simple speck in the universe. Our hearts beat and pulse in every nation, but only second to the kingdom of God. We put Jamaica first. I am Jamaican, regardless of where you may find me. Black, green, and gold is the marrow in my bones. So if I die away from my island, I pray to God you'll take me home.
And shall not slip from words of words, you'll have much to give. Read and make it the full man, so read and read all you can. Join the library or fire book and give it more than just a passive look. I read alone and shall not slip from words of words, you'll have much to give.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Our guest has been waiting in the wings. Medical practitioner, director, owner of Compassionate Care Medical Center and Guys Hill Medical and Dental Limited. Dr. Michael Heron, good afternoon. Thanks for your patience. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon, sir. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us here on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We're anxious to learn more about your offerings, your operations, Compassionate Care Medical Center and Guys Hill Medical and Dental Limited. Which came first?
Well, Compassionate Care came first. We first opened in Greater Portmore
Mm-hmm.
in June 2018. And at that location, we offer general health services. So we have a family physician, we have an obstetrician and gynecologist. We also offer blood tests, ECGs, echocardiograms, COVID-19 testing, nutritional counseling, so
And
for
you
the whole person.
and you said you're in Compassionate Care Medical Center is in Greater Portmore?
Yes, shop number 6, Pathfinder Plaza in Greater Portmore.
Okay.
That's our first location.
Pathfinder Plaza,
Yes.
Shop 6. Okay. And what are your general opening hours at Compassionate Care Medical Center in Greater Portmore?
Okay, our opening hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. on a Monday to Friday, and on a Saturday it is 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
And you were listing, did you exhaust your list in terms of the services that are offered at Compassionate Care Medical Center?
Definitely not. I mean, we offer other services like nebulization, minor surgical procedures like sutures, dressings, pap smears. Yes.
Yes. And do you are you self-contained in a with other individuals in the nation?
Yes, we ECGs and the echocardiograms, we partner with a cardiologist, and if needs be, we refer them to that cardiologist. And for any other service that we don't offer in-house, we have specialists that we will send them to send the patients.
What assurance can you give those who have never uh, had to visit Compassionate Care Medical Center that you're not only compassionate in name, but also in nature?
Well, I mean, we strive to cater for the whole person. We strive to listen and to address issues and concerns as they arise as best as possible.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. All right. So let's hold that one for the time being. So that's Compassionate Care Medical Center. Give us some insights now to Guys Hill Medical and Dental Limited.
Okay, so Guys Hill is a new practice that just opened in August. It is located at R&P Plaza, shop number 4 upstairs, and we offer general medical and dental services.
And was there anything in particular that prompted the move to set up Guys Hill Medical and Dental at R&P Plaza, shop 4 upstairs? Think about that, and we'll come back for the answer after the break. Listeners, it's both sides of the story. Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Our guest is Dr. Michael Heron, medical practitioner, director, owner of Compassionate Care Medical Center and Guys Hill Medical and Dental Limited. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:15.
It's more than just a passing look. I read alone and shall not slip. But from words of foot still have much to give. Listen for all the news, I'm serious.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:15. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4h15. Tiensai, TDN le CDN Sure Wu Fen. 15 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Our guest is Dr. Michael Heron, medical practitioner, director, owner of Compassionate Care Medical Center and Guys Hill Medical and Dental Limited. Going to the break, Dr. Heron, we wanted to know what prompted the move to, as the expression goes, set up shop in Guys Hill.
It was actually prompted by a call that I got from a pharmacist that I used to work with. So she lives in the area and she called me and she says, it's a big area, we need medical services and she would like me to come and look at the area. And I just went and I saw the opportunity and the need to, offer services in the area. So it moved from there.
And what has the response been like? And how are you reading that response? Are you well, let me not put words in your mouth. What has it been like?
Thus far, the response has been excellent. I don't think we could ask for a better response. The service is well received. We're getting good support and expecting to grow from strength to strength.
Uh, Obviously, we don't need you to be too specific, but in general terms, how would what are the areas of greatest demand? What are the services or procedures that you administer at Compassionate Care Medical Center and Guys Hill Medical and Dental, which seem to be in high demand based on the requests by your clients, your patients?
Well, the services would be just general medical care for chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension,
high cholesterol. Also, person seeking medical tests, so blood tests, urine tests, swabs, and also, ECGs to check on your heart health. I would say those are the most in demand services at the moment.
Yes. And how are you managing in terms of serving your customers or your patients?
Yes, so what we have done in the past couple of months is to increase our capacity. So in Portmore currently we have four general practitioners that work in different time slots, and we also have an admin manager that helps to oversee all the different administrative tasks and to ensure that everything runs smoothly. So
Mhm. And what are some of the means of contacting compassionate care?
okay, yes. So for Portmore location, we can be contacted at 876-627-5466, or you can call us or WhatsApp us at 870-9604.
870-9604.
Yeah. And just to add, we have a new branch for compassion here in Constant Spring, 38 Constant Spring Road, right across from Savannah Plaza, very conveniently located. For that location, we can be contacted at 876-579-7144.
Right. So, listeners, you have options if you're in Greater Portmore. Shop 6 Pathfinder Plaza is the location, and 30A Constant Spring Road. That's another location. That's the newest location. Did I miss any more? I mean,
and if you're in the St. Catherine Hills or St. Mary Hills, the guys.
Right, that's the one at R&P Plaza, Shop 4, upstairs.
Yes.
I see. Great. And well, I don't want to I feel a little guilty now because you're a doctor and you're always on call, and I feel like I'm taking up too much of your time. So,
Oh, man, that's fine.
yes.
Welcome. Thank
Right.
you for having me.
But thank you for recognizing the needs and coming up with solutions to better serve those needs in our communities. And so we want to once again encourage our listeners, especially those in the areas we've mentioned, those of you in the vicinity of Pathfinder Plaza, which is that's one of the locations, the Shop 6 Pathfinder Plaza, and they open from 9 in the morning until 8 in the evening. And of course, we're talking about Compassionate Care Medical Center. There's also Guys Hill Medical and Dental, which is at R&P Plaza, Shop 4, R&P Plaza, upstairs. And that's at the Guys Hill Medical and Dental Limited. And then, of course, there's another Compassionate Care Medical Center outfit, which is at 30 Constant Spring Road. And you heard the numbers there, 876-579-7144. So we would have to call the specific location as opposed to one number that would get us to all of them, right, Doc?
Yes, but if you call any of the locations, they will know the numbers for the others.
Okay, very well. We hope we get another opportunity to speak with you, or more opportunities in the future. In the future. In the meantime, though, thank you very much for featuring on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We commend you and your team, and we wish you all the very best as you continue to serve Jamaicans and even friends of Jamaica and visiting Jamaicans from your respective locations.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
All the best. And it would be remiss of me not to give you an opportunity just to say a big thank you to your clients, your patients, and all the members of your team.
Yes, definitely. We'd like to thank all the patients that have visited us, over the last 4 years and supported us. We're very appreciative. And a big thank you to, the staff, Nurse Brown, um, to Jody, our office manager, to Nurse Bissett, and all the doctors that fill in and help us.
We join you in saluting them. Thank you so much, Doc. All the very best.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Dr. Michael Heron, medical practitioner, director, owner of Compassionate Care Medical Center. There are two locations: Greater Portmore, Shop 6, Pathfinder Plaza, and 30A Constant Spring Road across from Savannah Plaza. And there's also the Guys Hill Medical and Dental Limited at Shop 4 upstairs R&P Plaza in Guys Hill, St. Catherine, Jamaica. We have to support. It's what we do. We like to say, in all we do, we stand on four legs: to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. And that's exactly what we will continue to do. We commit to continue doing. Thank you very much. Let's keep it going on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Lots of messages since the last time we checked. Leo Gilling says, Dervan, it was dark, but I made it out. All right. Well, it's good to know that you made it out, Leo Gilling. Thank you very much. Sophia Nemad, good afternoon to you. All the very best. Cherry Henry, good afternoon. She says, my radio station breakdown today. Can't hear Power 106. That's not good, Miss Cherry. We're going to have to share your concern with the engineers. Norman Hines, good afternoon. He's in St. Thomas. Welcome, Norman Hines. Inez Ayona Campbell, good afternoon to you too. Thank you for tuning in. Karine Cherry Brooks says, good evening. Good afternoon, Karine Cherry Brooks. She says, sir, listening in from Palm Coast, Florida. Welcome, Karine Cherry Brooks from Palm Coast, Florida. Eileen Budai, Mrs. Budai, how are you? We think about you every single day. And how come? Why? Well, apart from the really warm and kind human being that you are, we see your flowers around us every day. And so we can't help but think about you, Mrs. Eileen Budai. She says, hello, Dervan. Not able to get Power 106 since today. Oh, dear. Here we go again. She says, hope you're doing okay and keeping safe. Have a blessed day. Yes, we are. And we hope likewise on your side, Mrs. Budai. Sorry to hear that you're not hearing us. Not good. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Good afternoon, Velta Wilson. Valerie Rochester says, Dervan, hello. Hello to you too, Valerie Rochester. She says, greetings to you and your wonderful listeners. Thank you. Valerie Rochester in Atlanta, Georgia. Beverline in Toronto, Canada says, afternoon, Sir D, workday finish. She goes on to say, September 19 marked the day of a federal holiday for Canadians. Queen Elizabeth homegoing laid to rest celebration of life. Malachi Dermot Smith, greetings to you, Malachi. How are you? Internationally acclaimed poet extraordinaire and just a humanitarian at heart. Malachi Dermot Smith, good afternoon to you. Thank you for connecting. Peter Gracie, highlighting Malachi Dermot Smith as well. He says, glad to see you on, my good brother. Inez Ayona Campbell says, sending happy 10th anniversary to my sister Maria and husband Kevin, and happy birthday to my nephew, Jerome Parkins. And there's the link that Peter Gracie has posted, the thisisjamaica.org/scholarships link. Also posted is the Education Solutions International link. Education Solutions International link is also posted, and they are ready to serve you. George Williams Jr. says the doctor is coming through really low. Really, I'm sorry you weren't hearing the doc at the volume that you would have preferred. Sorry about that. I didn't see your message before now, because all it takes is just to turn up the volume. And Albert in Coconut, well, before we go to Albert, Clement Villiers, otherwise known as Clement Villiers, says, "Good day, Mr. Malcolm. Good day to you also. Bonne journée, Clement Villiers." Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida says, "Dervan, hope all is well. Listening to the drama about school uniform and hair grooming in recent days is very discouraging. Both issues have been in contention. Both issues, where are we? We just, where were we? Where did it go? Right. Both issues have been in contention for years, and it's time the Ministry of Education, with the schools, formally create and mandate a national dress code, just like how the police, nurses, and other entities have to comply to a standard dress code. So should students. School is for learning and learning only, and parents and students should not be able to dictate their terms. This is one of the causes of the rampant indiscipline within the society, which seems to be getting worse. Look at the sections of the transport sector. Total lack of discipline. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:30.
Servants standing all around, feeding you apples.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:30. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:30.现在几点了？10点13分. 4:30 in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Here's the rest of the message from Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida. He says, "It seems no one is in control, and I hope the state does its duty. If not, anarchy will be the norm. Hope not. Where have all our values gone? We need to find them," says Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida. And he sends us a rejoinder. He says, "Dervan, extend greetings to O'Neill and crew at United Auto Service in Mandeville. He's one of your ardent listeners." Thank you very much, O'Neill and crew at United Auto Service in Mandeville. Thank you. And let's clear. We still have more to clear. Just a moment. Good afternoon to Alvin Daly. He says that should be Jamaicans, Brother D. What's that now? Jamaicans. Oh, you mean... No, it's a different message. Elton Gordon, I see your message about finding that poem entitled Thirst. I think you have here, Thirst. I haven't been able to find it so far. I did do a search, but you have sown a seed, and let's see if it can bear some fruit. We'll check. We'll check on it. Thank you very much for your message, and all the very best. And we go now to WhatsApp once again, 876-365-3346. The WhatsApp number is the same as the text line, 876-365-3346. Let's see who's messaging us now. Where do we start? Major Jonathan Lamy, good afternoon to you. He says, "Greetings from Major Jonathan Lamy, JP, an avid listener. Dervan, can you shed any light on the heritage connection to those you mentioned earlier of Colonel Michael R. de Cordova, the founder of the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, JCCF, that organization that mentored so many of us leaders. If I come across any such information, you'll be the first to know, Major Lamy, but not able to say at this time. We would have to do further research. And uh, Crocs in Black River has sent us a follow-up message. Let's see what Crocs is saying. He says, it may be deceiving to say that Jamaica ranks very highly in press freedom. No, Crocs. I am I am stating a fact. I am I am not getting into any debate with you about this or that or the devil knows what. I'm stating a fact as published globally on the Freedom of the Press Index that Jamaica is at number 3 last time I checked on the Press Freedom Index. Anyway, the rest of Crocs's message, because we may have a very capital VERY free press that is not independent. It is equally important to have an independent media as a free one. Well, anybody who has evidence that says otherwise, let them come forward. What do they normally say at weddings? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Crocs in Black River. Thank you very much for your message. Cuban in Georgia says, Sir Malcolm, I noticed a certain nation trying to eat up. What? What is this? Who did I say this is from again? Cuban in Georgia. What have you been eating, Cuban in Georgia? What is this you have here? I'm sorry, I can't read the rest of this message. But thank you for your message anyway, Cuban in Georgia. You maybe need to take a 5 and relax and take it easy and turn off the radio or whatever device you're listening on and just relax. Thank you for your message. Who is this now? This is Spider, otherwise known as Horace. He says, the name is Sodom and Gomorrah. And did you know that it is the Catholic Church who wrote the New Testament Bible, yet still most of the churches are saying that the Catholic Church is demonic, yet still they are all using their Bible. Something is not adding up. Well, Horace, otherwise known as Spider, seems to be doing some thinking on matters that some of us take for granted. By all means, exercise your brain on those matters. Thank you very much for your message. Dorrell says 106.1 is back on and very good, says Dorrell. 106.1 is back on and very good. So we're fast forwarding your message. Fast forward. We're forwarding your message to the transmission group. And let's see. 876-922-4112 the numbers to call, and making sure we have cleared. We still haven't cleared Bunty's message just yet because we have had other things doing in the breaks, right? Let's go around to YouTube. Still up and running. Casita Johnson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Have a blessed night. A blessed night to you too, Casita Johnson. And another, there's another bit of information we wanted to share. Let's use this opportunity quickly. Where did it go? Let's see. Where did it go? Let's go back here and bring this up. Today is the 13th. Right, another bit of the history that we wanted to share with you here on your program. But just on the subject uh, that that was raised by Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida, as we said before the reopening of school, the we said we hoped that we wouldn't have people trying to hijack the uh, the back to school activities, because there's a tendency to take away from the fun and excitement that children feel going out to school for the new academic year. And we also expressed the hope that if there are parents who have a difficulty with the established rules of the respective educational institutions, as far as I'm concerned, the best place to have that discussion and and examination is the parent teacher association. And that is the proper designation, by the way. Parent, no S, parent teacher, no S, association. Parent teacher association. So if you're having a difficulty, take it to the parent teacher association. Unfortunately, there are situations where that association doesn't get the support that it that it needs in order to effectively serve its constituents. Because when meetings are called, people don't turn up. But if you are serious about your children, if you're serious about your charges, the children in your care, you would turn up for the parent teacher association meeting, where all these matters can be dissolved. I beg your pardon, can be resolved. All these matters can be resolved. And if there's something that needs to be dissolved, including the PTA itself, then you dissolve it and you wheel and come again. But that is where these matters are properly discussed, not in the way that we have seen in some instances. There's a reason why there's a parent teacher association, otherwise known as a home school association. That's what it is known as in some institutions, a home school institution. So that link between the home and school is critical. And so it's not about blocking roads and coming to TVJ or going to CVM and holding up placards. We can do better than that. Go to your PTA and put forward whatever issues you have on behalf of your charges, the children in your care. That's what responsible people do. Take responsibility. We learn. Let's leave that there for the time being. Don't want to get started on that. Let's move on. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And a couple more pieces of history for you. 1988, forecasters reported that Hurricane Gilbert's barometric pressure measured 26.13. It was the strongest hurricane ever recorded in the Western Hemisphere. Hurricane Hugo approached the Leeward Islands on this day in 1989. Over the next 12 days, Hugo would kill 75 people from the island of Guadeloupe to South Carolina. Goodness. 1992, the great Dr. Cicely Williams died on this day in 1992 at the age of 99. Dr. Cicely Williams was one of Jamaica's most distinguished doctors. She was born on the 2nd of December 1892 at Enfield near Betheltown in the hills of Westmoreland. She was awarded the Ceres Medal by the World Health Organization, WHO, and was the first person to be awarded the Order of Jamaica. No, let's do that again. I beg your pardon. The first person to be awarded the Order of Merit, OM. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. You may be a king of the world, sitting on your throne, metaphors, servants standing all around, feeding you apples, your favorite stew, singers and dancers.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 15. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5 heures moins 15. 现在几点了？5点加15分。15 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Let's get back to the great Dr. Cicely Williams, who died on this day in 1992 at the age of 99. Apart from everything else we have told you, let's pick up at the point that she was the first person to be awarded the Order of Merit, OM, the highest honor that a Jamaican civilian can receive from the government of Jamaica. Dr. Williams studied medicine at Oxford University and eventually became a major international contributor to the revolution in mother and child care that occurred in the 20th century. She first described the condition kwashiorkor in Africa, Kwashiorkor, kwashiorkor in Africa. Dr. Cicely Williams was the first maternal health advisor to the World Health Organization, WHO. She was the first woman to be given the honorary fellowship of the Royal Society of Medicine. She was a pioneer in the promotion of breastfeeding, much to the chagrin of baby food manufacturers. She was captured by the Japanese in Malaysia in the Second World War and spent a year in a prisoner of war camp. First, as a doctor and women's camp commander, later in solitary confinement in a metal cage. On her return to Jamaica, the great Dr. Cicely Williams was appointed by the government director of a committee set up. She was appointed by the government director of a committee set up to improve childcare and investigate the causes of food poisoning. This work between 1951 and 1953 resulted in the findings which made the connection between vomiting sickness and the ackee. We salute the late great Dr. Cicely Williams. We have more. Let's come back. Let's come back to that in just a moment. There are a couple of other messages I have to respond to. Where do we start? Let's go up a bit here. Randy Williams says you might want to look at that 2022 Freedom of the Press stat again. Jamaica is not in the top 5 of what I'm seeing for 2022. Well, remember what I said. The last one I saw, I didn't say one for 2022 or 20. The last Freedom of the Press index I saw, Randy Williams, and it was all over the news. Go and Google it. Go and check it. Go to the archives and find it. The last one I saw had Jamaica at number 3 in terms of press freedom. All right? Good. Thank you very much for your message. Or Jajo Karaza says, just saying hello, hi, out of Hartford, Connecticut. Thank you very much, or Jajo Karaza in Hartford, Connecticut, or as you say in America, Connecticut. Kirk MacD says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan Malcolm. Will you be mourning the Queen's death? And what do you think about the monarch, slave trade, Commonwealth, Jamaica? As we always say on this program, Kirk MacD, the loss of any life is to be regretted. The loss of any life is to be regretted. That's number one. No bones about that. The loss of any life is to be regretted. That's number one on the morning issue. And what do I think about the monarch? Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. And for those who do not wish to count themselves under the monarchical umbrella, they are free to take whatever steps need to be taken. The Prime Minister of Barbados took steps that needed to be taken. End of that story. Moving on to other things. The Jamaican government has said that the process has started. Let us see if what happened in Barbados will happen in Jamaica. What was the other part of your message? The slave trade, it is what it is. Everybody knows it's out there. The information is everywhere with respect to slavery and the slave trade and the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade in 1807, etc., etc. The information is out there. What we must ensure as people all over the world, is that knowing the history that we know, whether it be the Jews or the Africans, the persecution of Jews or Africans or whichever other peoples of the world, what we must ensure is that we do not return from whence we came in terms of the conditions and the situations and the circumstances within which our ancestors endured. Those of us who are supposed to be free, there's a saying that says, let me see if I can remember it. Those who expect to be ignorant and free are expecting what never was and never will be. Those who expect to be ignorant and free are expecting what never was and never will be. So those of us who consider ourselves to be liberated, to be free people, we must be careful that we don't find ourselves in, for want of a more sophisticated term, a reenactment of slavery, in a position where it's like we're reenacting. That is what we must ensure. And school our children, and it doesn't necessarily mean the four walls in a school, but school our children so that they understand that they are wonderfully, faithfully, and wonderfully made. So there is no need for them to be bleaching their skin. Absolutely not. Our minds should by now have been emancipated, but people say, well, you're expecting too much. It's been 300 years. Well, if we come to that understanding that it's been 300 years and therefore it's going to take maybe, I don't know, what's the thinking? It's going to take another 300 years at least for us to shed the mindset that some of us have, which means we're still enslaving ourselves. No, we must use whatever freedom we now enjoy to ensure that never again will we and our children and our children's children have to pass that way. Never again. And how do we ensure that? By our deeds, by our actions. I'm not sure I'm answering your questions, Kirk MacD. You can let me know. And the next question was about the Commonwealth. It is what it is. It's now up to 56 countries. Before the last Commonwealth heads of government meeting, it was 54. It's now up to 56. So there are those who want to be a part of the Commonwealth. But they must decide whether they want to just be, whether they want to be seated at the table, the decision-making table. And if they do find themselves at the decision-making table, they must so comport themselves that they don't end up on the menu. It's one thing to be around the table, but be careful that you don't end up on the menu. You get the picture. Let's move on. I hope, and with respect to Jamaica as well, Kirk MacD, well, it is what it is. Let's see what happens. The Jamaican government has said the process has started. Let's see what happens. Thank you very much for your message. And did we read this one already? Let me see. Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida says, Dervan, the behavior of some of the parents is so disgraceful, and I think the official media should not broadcast such. It seems getting on the media with such gives the power. It also goes for demonstrators about road condition, garbage, water, etc. Well, there's a general thing that we say on this program. Be careful of the people. Be careful that you don't become the people you condemn. Be careful that you don't become the people you condemn. Think about it. We'll have to leave it there for now. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 13th of September, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, then all your tears, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Reading make it a fun man, so read and read all you can. Vibrate alone and shall not slip. Some words of foot still have much to give. Books inform, all the news sound serious, some amusing too. You'll understand, appreciate with the words we think, communicate. To vast distractions of today we'll see. Reading every day is a missing link. So raise your knowledge and that you, it gives you confidence in you. Reading make us a full man, so read and read all you can. Join the library or buy a book and give us more than just a passing look. The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock. Major News at 5 is brought to you by the Optical Zone.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Good afternoon, I am Dervan Gordon. Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines, today, Tuesday, September 13, 2022. Parliamentarians pay tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. Downtown taxi operators join corporate area protest. Police High Command intervenes in dispute between the leadership of the St. Andrews South Police Division and rank and file members. In the calm, probing fatal shooting of 20-year-old man by the police in Trenchtown. In business news, listed company Express Catering registers.
Which is illegal. I understand.
It's called wrong